Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Benjamin, and today I'll be doing a review of the 2018 MacBook Air. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, this MacBook Air is quite the substantial upgrade for me, considering I came from a 2011 MacBook Pro. So a lot of things on this computer do surprise me, and we're going to be going over it today. Now, the model you see here in front of you is a 2018 MacBook Air, of course, in space gray. I went ahead and opted for the 512 gig SSD option. You can also get a 1.5 terabyte option, which is insane. I don't know why anybody would need that on a computer like this. Also, there's a 16 gig RAM option that this computer has as well. I highly recommend getting that. It is a lot better than the 8 gig version. Of course, there are 3 colors for this machine: space gray, silver, and gold. In my opinion, the space gray is definitely the one to get. Now, this computer is really lightweight, of course. It is made of 100% recycled aluminum, a first ever for a Mac laptop. First things first is the Retina display. This display is so good. You can literally cannot see the pixels when you zoom in. And as you can see, we have 48% more colors than the previous generation computer, and I mean, it is just incredible. Now, the screen on the MacBook Pros is better, but if you're coming from a computer like I am that did not have a Retina display, this is so much better, and it's just absolutely incredible, the quality. The camera does not do it justice. You definitely got to check this out in person. Now, I'm really glad that Apple added Touch ID to this computer. It's really unusual because if you wanted Touch ID before, you had to go to a MacBook Pro with a touch bar. So I'm really glad that Apple added this in there. It's a quick, easy setup process to do this. The Touch ID sensor is right up here in the top right corner of the keyboard, and that also functions as your power button. Now, Touch ID can be used for things as simple as logging into the computer, or you can use it to pay things on the web with Apple Pay. Now, another new feature for the MacBook Air is the 3rd gen butterfly keyboard mechanism. These keys are completely flat on the keyboard, and it does allow the computer to get thinner, but a lot of people that are coming from a computer like the previous MacBook Air that had the traditional keyboard, this is going to take some getting used to. Trackpad is a nice added touch as well. This thing is extremely large, and it allows you to have more room to do gestures and also force touch capabilities. So you can long press on things and it does different things. Now, I don't really use force touch a lot, but I can definitely see how it can be useful. To say, the thing I love most about this machine is the weight and the thinness. This computer is only 15.6 millimeters thin and weighs only 2.75 pounds. Now, yes, the 12-inch MacBook is lighter than this thing, but really you can't tell. And it's kind of funny to compare it with something like what I'm coming from, and just to see the difference is absolutely insane. Now, this computer does also feature a brand new Intel Core 1.6 gigahertz Y series chip. Now, this was causing a lot of controversy. People were kind of freaking out about it, but I'm just here to tell you, do not worry about the processor in this machine. It can literally handle anything that I've thrown at it. It handles iMovie exports, Final Cut exports. It's smooth as butter in those applications. Even when you do more intensive things like virtual machines, it has no problem at all. Now, of course, the 16 gigs of RAM does help with that a good amount. So if you are worried about the performance problems, just go ahead and opt for 16 gigs of RAM. But I can tell you that there is no need to worry about the Y series, the little chip, because it can handle literally anything. Now, yeah, it's going to slow down if you're doing a lot of graphic intensive things, but as you can see, just switching back and forth between stuff, and in virtual machines, I do a lot of Visual Studio work, and I have multiple things going at one time on both Windows and Mac, and it has no issues. So the chip in this computer, I wouldn't worry about it. You're going to do just fine, and it's definitely going to be fine for most people out there. If you're really worried about this, then get a pro machine, because that's clearly what you need if you're going to be worried about something like that. But like I said, I'm here to tell you, this chip, there's really nothing wrong with it. I'm making a whole separate video doing some performance testing on this, so be sure to tune in and subscribe so you don't miss that video. On this computer, that absolutely blows my mind every single time is the speakers. Now, like I said, I'm coming from a 2011 MacBook Pro, so those speakers were good, but they weren't that great. They got the job done, they were pretty loud, and you know, that's all I needed. But this thing just, it's insane how loud this computer can get. Apple says it's 25% louder than the previous MacBook Air, and if that computer had the same speakers that my MacBook Pro did, then that is a huge upgrade. Go to Best Buy or the Apple Store or somewhere and try out these speakers for yourself. But I'm just going to give you a little preview real quick, and notice the volume indicator. And like I said, the camera doesn't do it justice, but this computer sounds so good. Alright, we'll start out on 4 volume. Let's turn it up a little bit. It's about halfway. So halfway for me is already too loud. Alright, let's just go all the way up now. I swear, the speakers might be the best part. If you notice the locations of the speakers, they're on either side of the keyboard. The thing that a lot of people are kind of upset about is getting rid of the SD card and the USB ports from the previous MacBook. We now have a modern I/O here with 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports on this side. Now, I was also kind of worried about having to switch from USB, which I know and love, to the new Thunderbolt 3 and USB-C ports, but it's really not that bad. All you need is a nice little USB-C hub. I got this one on Amazon for like, I think it was $20-something. It is kind of cheap and it does cut out sometimes, but this is all you need. As you can see, I have my external hard drive plugged in, I have my external display plugged in, and I have my wireless charging pad, and then I have an extra USB port, and I even have SD cards and micro SD cards on that side. And that thing can also charge as well, but I find that if you plug in the charger to the other port, then it charges faster. Now, another great thing about this machine is the battery life. This thing lasts forever. Even when you're doing intensive tasks on battery life, it still lasts a long time. And the standby time is pretty incredible too. I easily can get all day use, no problem. When I would take this thing to school and use it all day long, I would come home and I'd still have 60 to 70% battery life left on it, so I don't even need to take my charger with me anymore. I love this thing. I'm so glad I went with this. I almost went with a MacBook Pro, but this thing is a worthy upgrade to a MacBook Air. It's so lightweight, easy to handle. The keyboard, I was not really a fan of at first, but I really do enjoy it now. The Retina display is so gorgeous, it's such an upgrade. Speakers are absolutely mind-blowing, and the performance is not lacking at all. If you have an old MacBook Air and you're thinking about upgrading, I'd say go ahead and do it. Anyways guys, that's my review of the MacBook Air. Overall, great buy. Highly recommended. Stay tuned to the channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos on this, including my favorite features, performance of the MacBook Air, and a few other ideas I have. So guys, thanks for watching as always. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video.